Welcome to Unruly 3, father of 3 unruly kids.
I'm not Ruly.
So let's make a centerpiece for the table. I found this walnut up at my local lumber mill. They have a lot of sapwood on them, but I kind of dug around until I found one that didn't have a lot of the sapwood and most of the dark wood. So, and in the middle it has some really nice figure. And here I'm just kind of milling it up, getting it ready to start cutting it down into some pieces. I want to try to keep that sapwood on there too, because I think it's going to look pretty. Just a little bit of a contrast on that. So here I am cutting the sides for the centerpiece. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start putting in the slot that's going to allow the plywood bottom to ride on. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my blade to be about halfway through, and move my fence over, and then I'm just going to run these boards over, and it's going to give me a little bit of a slot there so that I can put the plywood in on the bottom. So I just run them through once, slide the blade over a tiny bit, or slide the fence over a tiny bit, and then run these through one more time. And this is the plywood that's going to go on the bottom, and you see that it just slides in there. It's about perfect, not too tight. So now I'm just cutting the miters on all of these. So I go ahead and adjust this down to 45 degrees. And this is where I have it upside down. I cut it, and the slot's on the other side. And me walking around a little bit, wondering what the heck am I going to do. And then I just decide, well, I had already made them too tall anyway, so I'm just going to cut all the miters on them anyways. So I cut the rabbets on both of these two little ones, and then all I did is I just kind of set them up together like this and then they crept up on them until they were perfectly the same length. And then here I am cutting that slot off on all of them, lowering my blade down to about halfway, and then I'm going to run over the top of it and move my fence over a tiny bit and get myself another thing, enough for that slot. Then there was a whole bunch of sanding. So I'm actually going to pre-finish the inside of this. So I'm going to sand it all up. I'm going to spray it with water and pop the grain, and then go back and sand it a bunch again. Now here when I'm finishing, I'm using that deft clear varnish finish again that I like so much. I did tape off all the edges that are going to have glue, but I got all the inside of this is just going to be pre-finished. I think again I did about 3 coats, and in between I just kind of sanded it. Well, I just rubbed over the top of it with a brown paper bag, and that popped all the burrs off. So now I'm just taping the outside of this, getting it ready for glue up. So this tape works pretty good. I should have put the tape long ways. Here I kind of did just a short one. And this is the first time I actually ever tried doing it the short way like this. And when I go to put it together, you'll see that they just kind of pop off. I should have done it the longer way, but it still got it to work. So when I tip it over, you can see that the finish is on the inside of this. And here you'll even see that I actually drop a glue on here, right there, and just with a little bit of a wipe up, it comes right off. And so I think cleanup is going to be a lot better on the inside, making these boxes by pre-finishing them like this. So in one of my last videos, I did say that I've been watching these different movies with my daughter, and I said that the next one we were going to watch was going to be Back to the Future. And so we did watch it. She didn't like it so much. She was really kind of confused with some of the parts, and I think overall she gave it about probably a 3 out of 5 stars. And so I think the next one we're going to watch is probably going to be Princess Bride, and if she gives that anything less than 5 out of 5, I'll probably have to disown her. So hopefully she sees where I'm coming from on that one. So it'll probably be Princess Bride or Die Hard Die Hard's a good Christmas one, so we might watch that one. But, yeah, we'll see how she does. Alright, so here when I tape it together, you can see right there the glue just popped right off of that. And, well, the tape popped off. And so then I just had to get some. So I went ahead and fixed all the other joints. And tried putting a little bit more tape on some of the other corners. And then I finally just went and grabbed a couple clamps. So I put some tape on this side, and then I'm just going to put a couple clamps on here. And you'll see that I ended up getting a pretty good joint on that one after I clamped it all up. And then here you can see some glue squeeze out. So I got a pretty good joint on that one. So this is a spline jig that I made a little while ago. If I was any good at all about putting links to some of my other videos, I would have put it right down in the bottom corner and made a nice little link right down there, but I'm not any good at that kind of stuff, so I didn't add a link to it. But yeah, I just turned my box around each time, adding a cut on it, and then this is where the splines can fit into the edges. And so the box has these little cuts all the way around it. And then with this, I just kind of quickly did a little bit of a measuring just to see how big I need to make these splines. Took it over to the bandsaw and cut a whole bunch of these and glued them into place. Then I took it back over to the bandsaw after it dried, and I cut off all the edges, all the extras, and took it and sanded it down. So I worked my way all the way up to 220 grit, and then again, just like I did with the inside, sprayed it down with water, popped the grain, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish it. And overall, I think it turned out really good. I don't know what she plans on putting on the inside of this one. Maybe the mason jars again, or I don't know, whatever she wants to put on the inside of this one. But yeah, I really like, of course, maple and walnut always looks really good together. Then at the end, after I got the finish on, I did about 4 coats. Then I kind of used a brown paper bag like this, and I rubbed it out, and then went ahead and put in probably 2 more coats on the top. And here's how it ended up. Yeah, I think that grain really looks great. Thanks for watching.